Hey everybody, it's John from JonLoomer.com and Jon Loomer Digital on Facebook, here with another edition of my weekly video blog on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, where once a week I answer your questions regarding Facebook marketing, content marketing, whatever it is, revolving around your online business. As you know, once a week I put out this question, usually Tuesday or Wednesday. This week was Tuesday. It says ask me anything, and that's your chance. All right, so I'm going to go through. There's so many good questions here. The way I usually do this is I answer a bunch of them, and then I later edit it out to get to like 3, 4, or 5, whatever it takes to get into 10 minutes. So I apologize to those of you who I edit out, quite frankly. All right, so let's start from the top. Carrie asked this question. The link share article was fabulous, John. Well, why am I talking like this? So expounding on that a bit in your next vlog or vlog would be very useful. All right, this is what Carrie is referring to. My post has said, stop using Facebook text updates and photos to share links. There is a lot to be said about this, okay? A lot that I'm still figuring out and I'm unsure of. But essentially what happened is Monday, and I'll get to Monday's post as well here in a moment, I did a whole bunch of research on my data going back a year plus. And one of the things I was really curious about when I did that was the rates of engagement, reach, and link clicks, okay? Because Facebook tracks this stuff, link clicks, for various post types, because Facebook tracks that for photos, status updates, and the regular link shares. So what I've found in my studies, because I've actually gone completely away from using a status update like this one here, in this example, status update, and then attaching a text URL as opposed to the standard, thumbnail, title, description. The standard is what I'm going towards now. Other people use photos and attach a text URL. I've gone away from that too. I used to do that a lot. But anyway, I've just found that it seems I'm getting more and more traffic from just the standard link share. And it's maybe partially due to the fact that it's now much, much bigger. I mean, I go take a look here. The area is quite large. It's a long blog post, by the way. It's 379 by 116. You click anywhere within that, it's a link to your site. As opposed to with the status update, you just got to click that link and that's it. Anyway, the stats I found were crazy, and probably a little bit too crazy. Makes me wonder about them. But first of all, reach. People have been using status updates because reach for them is much higher while links are lower. So this is my data over the last year, basically, of anything that's been used to drive traffic to my site, that include a link in it. And then photos obviously had much more engaged users per fan. But what I was finding was that the amount of link clicks was ridiculously high for links compared to the other two. And we're talking about 159 times more than photos, 73 times more in status updates. Those kinds of numbers are crazy, and to the point where it makes me really second guess whether it's true. But I've been told that it's possible Facebook sometimes tracks these links within other clicks. But even then, when I took that into account, it was then evening up the overall clicks between link and photo. And even then, when you say, well, not all that's link clicks, it's still more beneficial for links. So essentially what I come out of this saying is you may want to use status updates to get more reach. That's actually up for debate now. You may want to use photos to get more engagement. But if your goal when you're creating a piece of content is to drive traffic, I'm thinking you need to use the standard link share. There's so many more reasons to it, though, than just the bare traffic. And I'm going to give you an example here in a second. But when someone reshares a photo that has a link in it, first of all, the text changes to gray. and it's pushed to the bottom of the photo. It's buried. The reshare element of that is huge. Your stuff is not going to go viral. The link is not going to go viral really that way. Status updates, kind of the same thing. It turns gray, and it's below the comments of your friend, or of your friend. And with the link, you're redoing it over and over. It looks the same every single time. So the virality of a link is much, much higher. You can also create domain sponsored stories around links. Now, I'm going way off base here. This is going to take up a lot of time, but a really good example is Mari Smith. Now, this isn't going to be apples to apples, and she warned me of this as well, so let me be clear. But she shared a status update last Thursday that included a link to my site. She then shared this story as a link, on Tuesday, okay? Each time I got a big boom. Big boost because it's Mari Smith. Come on. Mari Smith bump. But Tuesday ended up being my best traffic day since September. And it's easy to measure the Mari Smith bump because I compare the amount of traffic I got those 2 hours compared to the previous hour. I was getting way more traffic than the previous hour yesterday. And compared to last Thursday when she did with the status update, I got 3 times as many referrals that were directly attributed, in my opinion, to Mari. Take what you will from that. It's just evidence, it's not proof. Combined with everything else I'm seeing and kind of my gut, use links, people. I'm tired of people trying to skirt around the rules. I say skirt around the rules, but trying to take advantage of EdgeRank and saying, you need more reach, you need more engagement, so do this and that. What are your goals? If your goal is to get more traffic, I highly advise you to at least consider using the old-fashioned way with links. If you've got link tracking going on, look at those numbers. But just be careful with these numbers, because I think the link clicks may not be 100% accurate, but there's so many things to look at here. I'm leaning more and more to that old-fashioned way. All right, so that just took up a solid many minutes. Let's see what else we got here. Dennis has a question. It's also going to lead to another question, but what tools are you using for your podcast? Then I get this question from Sherry, which is audio. So listen in.
Hi, Jon. It's Sherry Gauthier from Canada. Love following your blog and your information. Here's my question for you. With all the success with social media, I see that podcasting is a really great way to get your marketing message out. Love for you to do a post on that. How effective is podcasting? And maybe a few tips and ideas of how to do it, and maybe a few services that would allow you to create the podcast and get it out there. Thanks so much, and thanks again for adding value to all of us with your fantastic blog articles. Bye for now.
Thank you so much, Sherry from Canada. Great question. Now, I'm not a podcasting expert, okay? I started my podcast probably nine months ago or so. Inspiration from Marcus Sheridan, who's a good podcaster, and started out very basic. And last year, really, when I was doing it, it's mainly experimental, and I really wasn't even tracking success, to be honest with you. I didn't even know how many people were downloading it because of the way I was doing it. However, recently, I did 2 really important things, maybe more. I am now hosting on Libsyn, libsyn.com. So it's a paid service. It's no longer on my servers. So there's a lot of stats there that I did not previously have available. Okay. And the other thing is I put a widget on my site. And if you read my blogs, you'll see Social Media Pubcast, and you can listen to my podcast there. You can also watch my video blog here. Why I took so long to do this, I can't tell you. But overnight, by including that on there, my downloads increased from a couple a day. Seriously, it was ridiculous. A couple a day to about 1,000 per day. Granted, I get some nice traffic, but that has been huge for getting me out there and helping spread the word. So there's a couple things I'm doing. I'm also on Stitcher. So consider being on Stitcher as well. Obviously, on iTunes, you've got to be on iTunes. And so what I do is I make sure I've got a regular podcast. I interview somebody every week, an expert, to kind of provide a different voice, make it nice and relaxed. It's called a pubcast because we do it over a beer. And I publish it in all those places. I've also considered, like I did toy around with SoundCloud for a bit. That's another paid service, so I think I'm going to abandon that. But so I'm still figuring it out. But these are the things that I've been doing with my podcast. I also invested in a microphone. I don't think you can see it here. And about a $100 microphone. It's the Blue Yeti. So you might want to look into that. See if there's anything else. In terms of recording, I mean, there's so many different ways you can record. I actually just use the same thing I use for this video blog, which is ScreenFlow, and then I just cut out the video, and then I convert it, and there's a lot of converting going on. I use the levelator. Things to look at. Again, I'm no expert, but just some tips there. All right, hope that helps. Okay. Les asks, what is the best way to convert fans to sales? Les, good question. Consider Facebook part of your funnel. Okay. One thing I would try to avoid is trying to immediately convert people from people who don't know you into customers. That is very difficult to do, especially if you have an expensive product. So what I do is a couple things. I write a lot of content. I drive people back to my Facebook page, try to get the like, also get them to subscribe to my email list, try to tie them up in multiple places to keep that conversation going. I will create ads for my product that are targeted just at my fans. Not only my fans, but people on my email list using something called custom audiences. So there'll be an ad for my product showing up in the sidebar, or sometimes newsfeed if you're a fan, promoting a product to buy. So I have much more success hitting those people with selling product than I do with people who have no idea who I am. So create a Facebook tab, obviously, invest in that, and target your ads at people who are already moving down that sales funnel to look at sales. So I hope that helps. David asks, what has been your experience with the 20% rule and the new Facebook image promo guidelines? We have an image that's clearly under 20% that we cannot get approved. It's really frustrating. I'm with you, David. So anyone who doesn't know, basically you can't have more than 20% of an image that's within an ad be taken up by text, or Facebook will reject it. This has been unfortunately the case not only with sidebar ads, but it's supposed to be for newsfeed ads. Let me get that straight. But it's also been happening on sidebar. It's been happening on link shares, so that thumbnail even. And I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be applied, but it's happening. So for me, it's driving me nuts. I was given a little inside tidbit that I believe is an inside tidbit, not BS, but someone sent me a grid that Facebook sent them. Essentially splits up an image into 20 boxes, 20 squares, and if text touches more than 5 of those squares, you're screwed. All right, so something to look at when you're creating those images. In general, I've just been very cognizant now of the images I use when I'm sharing content, with the thought that I may be promoting that down the road. So unfortunately, you gotta be more careful about that. You even have to be more careful about that with the image associated with your article, because of the link share thumbnail thing. It's ridiculous. So that's what I got going on. Okay, Juliet asks, when you read this, which is the Facebook Studio important update to Page Insights reporting, did you scream until your eyeballs bled, or did you just laugh maniacally? May have grabbed the bottle of Jack. Who can say for sure? I love Juliet. All right, so her question, it's regarding the fact that Facebook came out with the news that the reporting on reach has been wrong. There's been a bug going back at least until November, possibly since September-ish. I laughed maniacally, Juliet. Look, I've been telling you people, sorry, I don't want to rub it in. I really don't. But I've been telling you for months that reach is a vastly overrated stat, first of all. And second of all, measuring it is an inexact science, right? It's measuring the potential of someone seeing your stuff because they were on a particular part of the screen at a certain time, but their eyes may not have been focused there. So that's what reach is. It doesn't really measure success in any way. It can be used in relationship to things, but you should not be, like, I saw so many complaints that this is what was motivating people, this drop motivated people to buy advertising, and I think that's a bunch of BS. Like, to me, if my reach is way down, that's a sign that there could be a problem. Because of EdgeRank, if you trust EdgeRank, which I do, it tells me it's but possible that my content sucks. And I'm not going to promote a post where people don't want to engage with it, all right? So I completely think that's a bunch of baloney when people talk about how that forced people to buy advertising. It's why Facebook didn't make any changes or didn't correct that bug. So anyways, you can see this post, Facebook reached and cites reporting bug. It doesn't matter. Essentially, if you go through my post, yes, I laugh maniacally because as I go through my data, you'll see, in particularly here, yes, reach dropped. But if you look a little bit more closely, hey, look at that. My engagement over time was going up, and engagement of fans was going up, and that's why I did not care. And this was also related to the report from Facebook originally announcing why reach was going down, at least why they thought reach was going down, is because they were basically targeting your stuff better at people who cared, and the spam was impacting whether or not your stuff was seen and this and that. So who you reached was supposedly becoming more relevant. So you were getting more reach per fan, which was good, and cutting out people who didn't care about your stuff. So that's all I cared about. I don't really care about reach. What's interesting is EdgeRank Checker did a post showing it was like 275% increase in viral reach. This also made me laugh maniacally because I wrote a post in the beginning of September that I've been tracking viral reach falling off the table since August 28th. That could explain the issue there too, in the error in reporting, and the numbers just weren't adding up. As a result, I did not care. Reach is all over the place. Don't let it drive your strategy. Worry about things that matter, that pay the bills, things that lead to link clicks or engagement or whatever. Reach doesn't matter, my friends. It matters a little, but it matters it's way down the list of priorities. All right. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for today. I went over my 10 minutes a little bit today, just because I got lost in the weeds a little bit on a couple of topics that I'm pretty passionate about, quite frankly. But I hope you found this helpful. Once again, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss these shows in the future. Like my Facebook page, Jon Loomer Digital. Subscribe to my newsletter, jonloomer.com. And by all means, I mentioned my podcast. Subscribe to my podcast too. As I showed you, you can access that in the sidebar. You can subscribe, listen, all those things there too. All right. Hope you found it helpful. Until next time, do awesome things. I'm out.